This week, 79,244 Bitcoin were added to 151,820 wallets that already had 10 to 10,000 Bitcoin in them. That's more than 11,000 Bitcoin being added every day by people who own XRP. We cordially invite you to return to the channel. I cannot express how grateful I am for your constant presence and the love you send. If we look at all of the coins together, we can see that some of them have a hint of red, but most of them are still green. There are many jobs in the utility business, and you ready for a change? Are you ready to see this for yourself? Shiba Fart Coin, Pepe, Bonk, and what does that link mean, are all losing value, even though I know all of these are jokes, but utility projects are really taking off right now. The ICP is one of them, along with the Maker, the FET, and the SRP for Q and QRP. If you think that's interesting, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. The value of Bitcoin has dropped from more than 132 billion to less than 100 billion. And the price of XRP has also gone up by 3%, reaching $2.25. To give you an idea of how big this is, the value has gone up by about $3 billion, 0 cents in just 24 hours since our last report, and trades worth about $2 billion, 0 cents have taken place. As always, before we go any further, let's make sure that one thing is clear. This station is not meant to help you with your finances. Before you invest any money in cryptocurrency, you should do your own research, just like you would with any other investment. That's why President Trump has given his approval to Social Files for a Bitcoin exchange traded fund. If you find this interesting, please leave a comment below. But first, take a look at this. The U.S. money supply has reached a new all-time high of $21 trillion, 0 cents. Bound to Bitcoin, does it look like Bitcoin will really follow? You should know that the amount of money in M2 is getting close to a new all-time high. Up until now, the picture has been strongly and positively linked at all times. Let's wait and see what happens. There is a very important event that is going to happen, but this is what is going to happen. Bitcoin continues to look like it is in a very good position, even though I'm not ruling out the possibility. I'm sure we will pay a lot of attention to this picture and focus on the positive correlation side of things. As you know, Trump told them to meet with the president of China on Friday. As we all know, there will be a solution to this problem of some kind. The question is whether or not we can come to some kind of agreement. If that happens, the markets will get very excited, especially when two of these major countries come up with some kind of answer on how to handle the situation. This is very important because if they still can't come to an agreement, the situation is still uncertain, which could have a big effect on the market as a whole. So we will have to wait and see what happens. As I said before, this Zoom shows that I would like to see more peak grab liquidity coming from the $2.00 range. The price has not yet hit 2.0 cents. It has been. There is a psychological price point being talked about here, so don't get too excited. Keeping an eye out for this pump. If you said that Zoom is saying that everyone has their own view on the market, you would be right. However, Zoom is saying that the bounce we are currently experiencing is pretty normal. They are still hoping that the $2.00 cash will be touched, even though they aren't buying it. What happens is something that we will have to wait and see, but we need to be aware that we have a lot of support, which I will make clear to you guys and Zoom. I can tell that the 207 was a big deal. As you can see, they are talking about it. We have been focusing a lot of our efforts on that level. We hit it exactly at the neckline, and since then there has been a rally in the market, so this doesn't come as much of a surprise to me. Please share your thoughts. I can say that this is a strong support line for XRP. But what about the chance that we could test below $38 a cent? Is that still possible? Without a doubt, Bitcoin would have to break below the 102,000 support level for prices to drop even more. In the event that I'm able to do it, I believe that is a chance. Even though we know what will happen, the Bitcoin BTC market is still having some problems. It is still higher than 16,000. As I told you before, the same resistance was tested again, and the result was definitely and unequivocally a rejection just as you would have expected. This pushback is very important, so let's make sure it happens. I still believe that the 2K retest is real, and the control has a percentage of 64, 15%, which is still pretty high when looking at the bigger picture. For example, on June 10th, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act will be looked at by the House Financial Services Committee. This is something you should think about. Thanks to this bill, some coins will finally be considered goods. It's important to remember that XRP is a new type of market money. People used to say that holding XRP was like holding gold in your hands, and it's meant to be the most liquid currency. The XRP record keeps track of this information. Moving forward, it's true that XRP is a utilities coin. However, if you know how the XRP ledger works, you know that the native token XRP plays a big part in how the ledger works. There is some question that the new rules that will separate utility tokens from securities will be put in place by the second half of 2025. As confirmed by Us.Thankx, Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs, bring in a whole new group of buyers. Ethereum and XRP are the next two cryptocurrencies. There is no question at all about it. If you look at the filings that these big companies have made, you'll see that the rate at which XRP is being made for the spot ETF is at an all-time high. This clearly shows where the focus should be. And you should know that these big companies are well aware of it in that event. Even though our control has decreased over the last few hours, we are still at 64.14%, which is by no means a small percentage. Bitcoin was rejected at the 106,000 level, which shouldn't have been a surprise since that's the number I've been talking about. Even though it might seem like we're repeating ourselves, we have been keeping a close eye on that number. If you look at the price of XRP, however, you will see that it didn't make a very good wick up to 2280. To put another way, you are free to make this up. Your son has been talking about this during talks. Let's take a moment to calm down everyone who thinks we're being negative.